In Japan, they are a shadow that refuses to hide. They call themselves Ninkyo Dantai, chivalrous organizations. The world knows them by a different name, Yakuza. They are a paradox wrapped in a black suit. They hold office buildings and business permits. They provide disaster relief when the government fails. But look closer, and the civility begins to fray. It is a culture built on a 1,000-year-old lie, that you can find honor in the heart of a massacre. This is not just a story of crime. It is a story of a dying bloodline trying to survive in a Japan that no longer wants them. While the exact genesis of the Yakuza remains debated, most contemporary syndicates trace their lineage back to two Edo period, 1603 to 1868, social classes, the Tekiya, who trafficked in stolen or inferior merchandise, and the Bakuto, who managed or engaged in illicit gambling circles. Occupying the bottom rungs of the Edo social ladder, these Tekiya, street peddlers, eventually organized to manage commercial logistics, such as the distribution of stalls and the safeguarding of trade activities. During Shinto celebrations, these vendors established kiosks, while specific associates provided security. Each merchant paid fees to secure a designated spot in general protection throughout the festival duration. These peddler groups functioned through a rigid vertical hierarchy, placing the Oyabun, patriarch, at the apex and Kobun, protege, at the base. This arrangement mirrors a traditional family unit. In Japanese heritage, the leader served as a father figure, while subordinates acted as his children. Remarkably, the Edo government officially acknowledged the Tekiya by granting leaders supervisory roles and semi-samurai privileges, including the right to carry swords and use surnames. Conversely, the Bakuto, gamblers, suffered even greater social stigma because their primary trade was strictly outlawed. Secretive betting dens emerged within derelict shrines or temples located on the outskirts of Japanese settlements. These establishments frequently operated predatory lending services for their patrons and employed dedicated enforcers to maintain order. The general public viewed these gamblers with intense contempt. Indeed, the pejorative term Yakuza itself stems from this gambling subculture. Driven by the shifting economic tides of the mid-Edo era and the rise of the merchant class, emerging Yakuza cells often consisted of outcasts and rebels who banded together to defraud marketplace consumers by peddling counterfeit or low-quality wares. The most legendary Yakuza and cultural icon in Japan is Shimizu Jirocho, 1820 to 1893. Originally born as Chogoro Yamamoto, he assumed a new identity upon his adoption, following a standard national custom. His colorful life story and criminal feats were immortalized in 16 different motion pictures, produced between 1911 and 1940. The historical foundations of the organization endure through modern induction rites that still utilize specific Tekiya or Bakuto traditions. Even as modern syndicates expand their interests, many still cling to their ancestral roots. For instance, a faction primarily funded by secret casinos might still label themselves as Bakuto. Kyushu, particularly the northern Fukuoka region, is famous for producing high volumes of Yakuza recruits, including several prominent leaders of the powerful Yamaguchi-gumi. Isokichi Yoshida, 1867 to 1936. Hailing from Kitakyushu, is often cited by researchers as a pioneer of the contemporary Yakuza era. Today, both Shinobu Tsukasa and Kunio Inoue, heads of the Yamaguchi-gumi's most dominant branches, are Kyushu natives. Consequently, Fukuoka maintains the highest concentration of officially designated crime syndicates in the country. The Yakuza established a foundational Oyabun-Kobun hierarchy where the foster child, Kobun, pledges absolute devotion to the foster parent, Oyabun. This bond is cemented through the ritualistic sharing of sake, a ceremony echoing Shinto nuptials or ancient blood oaths, later governed by the Jingi Code of Justice. Structurally, these syndicates operate as multi-tiered pyramids where subordinates eventually become heads of their own branches, creating a complex web of subsidiary families. A massive organization like the Yamaguchi-gumi may consist of 6 distinct layers, effectively integrating the leaders of lower factions into the executive core of the parent group. The primary leader is titled the Kumicho or Kaicho, while his younger brothers are known as Shate and his children are called Wakashu. While Shate signifies a high-ranking sibling status relative to the boss, the term is flexible enough to describe any junior-senior pairing within the lower ranks. At the executive level, the most critical roles are the Kumicho, his second-in-command Wakagashira, and his senior brother, Shate Gashira. These three, alongside the general manager, Honbucho, form the administrative heart of the clan, though the older Shate often hold more prestige than actual functional power. Functioning as a dark reflection of the Japanese senpai-kohai, senior-junior system, members sever biological ties to adopt a new family. They address one another as pops, oyaji, uncles, ojiki, and big brothers, aniki, within a world almost exclusively male, save for the boss's wives, or anasan. During the Second World War, the traditional influence of street peddlers and gamblers waned under strict military mobilization and government oversight. However, following the national defeat, the Yakuza demonstrated remarkable resilience by adapting their methods to the shifting post-war social landscape. The act of Yubitsume, or finger shortening, serves as a physical manifestation of an apology. A first-time offender typically severs the tip of his left pinky. While some underbosses sacrifice their own digits to protect their crew, the practice is fading as modern youth avoid such obvious markers of criminality. Historically, this ritual is rooted in swordsmanship, as the removal of the lower fingers significantly weakens a warrior's grip on his blade. This disability forces the individual to rely more heavily on the group for defense, discouraging independent action or betrayal while fostering total dependency. Many members bear intricate full-body tattoos known as Irezumi, which are often applied painfully by hand using traditional bamboo or steel needles. These expensive masterpieces remain largely hidden beneath clothing, traditionally unveiled only during private gatherings or games of oicho kabu to signify status. Membership peaked in 1963 at over 184,000, but plummeted following the 1992 Anti-Bokudan Act and the strict 2010 exclusion ordinances that crippled their social standing. By 2020, the total number of members and associates had withered by approximately 70% from their modern highs. By 2024, the National Police Agency recorded fewer than 19,000 affiliates, with designated syndicates being those officially flagged for their violent influence and criminal records. In the wake of these harsh legal designations, many families have attempted to rebrand as professional corporate entities to evade scrutiny. Currently, 25 organizations are designated as major threats, with Fukuoka Prefecture notably housing 5 distinct syndicates within its borders. Only 3 of these groups maintain a regular membership exceeding 1,000, illustrating the significant downsizing of the underworld's traditional workforce. A historic legal precedent was set when Satoru Nomura of the Kudokai received a death sentence, later reduced to life, for murder, marking a first for a syndicate head. The Kudokai remains uniquely labeled as especially dangerous, even as major groups like the Yamaguchi-gumi consolidate under the major organization's banner. The criminal landscape is currently fractured by internal conflict, as the Kobe Yamaguchi-gumi and other splinter factions continue to battle the original parent organization. Despite these wars, the leaders of the 3 largest families have occasionally met for social summits to discuss the changing face of crime. The Yamaguchi-gumi remains the dominant force, commanding roughly 30% of all Yakuza and operating from its historic Kobe headquarters under Shinobu Tsukasa. Tsukasa's aggressive expansion has even pushed the syndicate into Tokyo, territories that were historically controlled by rival organizations. The second largest group, the Sumiyoshi Kai, operates more like a loose confederation of smaller gangs, rather than a monolithic hierarchy. Based in Tokyo, its leadership under Shuji Ogawa is more distributed, allowing for a more flexible and less rigid chain of command. Ranking third is the Inagawa Kai, which maintains a strong presence in the Tokyo-Yokohama quarter and was an early pioneer in international expansion. Like its rivals, it faces a shrinking roster, with only a few thousand members remaining as of the most recent 2024 census.